road again. We're back on Interstate 84, heading west. Once again, watching as the mile markers count down. And I mentioned that if you're going west or south, they'll count down to a state line if that interstate highway crosses a state line, or the markers count down to the end of that interstate highway. So we have 187 miles to go until Interstate 84 ends in Portland. Now, if you think of Portland as a West Coast city, I mean, I guess you can still use that language loosely, you know, West Coast, but it's not actually on the Pacific Coast. There are no cities, in fact, on the Pacific Coast between San Francisco and Seattle. And when we get to the coast, I guess we'll see why. It's a very rocky coast and doesn't lend itself to shipping ports. But it should also be much more scenic for our enjoyment. So once we get to Portland, we got to go through Portland, and then it's another 50 or 70 miles or something, I forget, until we reach the coast, which will be very exciting. And we're going to explore a good stretch of the Oregon coast. Where's our first stop? Well, I'll leave that as a mystery for now. Kind of sneaks up on you as you're rolling across farmland and sagebrush, but all of a sudden you realize you're right beside the Columbia River. Look at that. The state of Washington on the other side. Peak in Oregon, over 11,000 feet. The PCT, Pacific Crest Trail, passes by Mount Hood, I think. Don't believe it goes up onto it, and you can see why. Look at all that snowcap in mid-July. What they call the Dalles. Never known why it's called that exactly, or if that word has a meaning. But the Dalles was the terminus for the overland journey of the Oregon Trail travelers. From there, their possessions would be taken off of their wagons and loaded onto boats, where they would sail down the Columbia River to Oregon City and the Willamette River Valley, present-day Portland. Well, maybe the pace of traffic gives you a clue that we are in the Portland city limits. Never been to this city before. Seems like an interesting place. But it's not our destination. Soon we'll reach the end of Interstate 84. Briefly, we get on Interstate 5, and then US Route 26 to work our way west out of Portland and to the coast. Well, this isn't Route 26. That is. But the sign said there's a viewpoint here. I guess we have to hike to it. I didn't plan a hike for this part of the trip, but it looks like I'm getting one. Is this really heading toward a view? We're getting a nice view of the forest. There was no sign to tell us how far to go, but it looks like if there really is a view, not that many people actually come back to it. It's hard to see from over there what we're headed toward. Now that just seems to go up back toward the road. I don't know that I'm going to go any farther. I guess we're going back. Usually, when you see a sign like that on the road, it means that there's just a turn off and you can see some vista from where you park. But there wasn't really much to see there. Oh well. It's all about discovery, right? Well, back on the road, I guess. Let me just munch on a little more of my cherry pie. Okay, let's go. Well, now we come to the end of Route 26. And so here's the junction with US Highway 101, which I guess is what they call the Pacific Coast Highway, the PCH. So from here, we'll be taking the PCH south. Well, let's get our first look at the Pacific Ocean from the Oregon coast. I didn't anticipate a river crossing, but look, there's a bridge. I didn't look at any pictures of this place before I came because I didn't want to know what I would see. But I expected to be looking at the ocean from the top of a cliff. I didn't know there would be this huge beach. And you can see how most people stay back there where the sand is dry. But some want to swim and surf. Lifeguard on wheels, which is probably a good idea, rather than just sitting in a chair. I'm sure it gets very cold on this beach from the wind, but that breeze feels great to me right now. a view from way above. That's what I expected. But you can see there are beaches down there.
Hold on, he was. Hold on, he was a gun.
Let's just take a look here. Looks like this is a good fishing spot, popular fishing spot. We're just gonna cross the tracks and see if we can have a look. Look both ways for trains. I think this is the mouth of the Nehalem River, if that's how it's pronounced. It looks like it flows into the Pacific right down there. Nice sandy beach on the other side. Apparently not a public beach or commercial beach. Don't see any people over there. Maybe that beach isn't even accessible by road, but lots of boaters out here. Well, let's see where the Silver Streak takes us next. Move on down the road. Moving south. $10 to park in this lot, I think, for all day. I thought I saw a coffee shop up here, so let's get us a little something to take with us before we check out the beach. Got some surfers out there as well. Looks like they have better waves than in Cannon Beach. I've been to the California coast, and you don't get features quite like that usually. You do get dunes though sometimes. Look at those people going up the side of that the dunes there, and some people on the top. Wow. That could be fun. Might be really fun to come back down. I know what you're asking yourself. Is old dude gonna take his boots off at any point and wade out there? Well, I guess you'll have to stay tuned to see. I can tell you it won't be at this beach though. This'll do me just fine. Ooh, a little coffee maker even.
Yeah, he represents everything.
It's around 11 a.m. here in Newport. The temperature is in the upper 50s, so it's kind of cool. So you have a long sleeve shirt on, even in the sun. It's not hot. I'm representing Pennsylvania today, but I don't know if anybody will be able to see it. Look, I'm wearing a Sheetz shirt. There's no e-ordering allowed here. This might be of interest to Hank Schrader if he's wanting to check out a certain industrial laundry. Do you mind being on video, Captain?
No, that's fine. You bet.
Nicely done, guys. That was a perfect deployment. So we have that starboard side pot deployed. We're going to do that all over again with the port side real quick. So now, my friend, you're going to be my next line thrower. So which hand do you like to throw with? Left hand. So go ahead and stand on this side.
Is there a chance of seeing any of these sharks today?
Right
No,
here,
those are
black
ours.
part
But
is.
if you go diving, if you
Go ahead and pick up
jump in the
right
water, you
here.
might see them.
Other hand.
No, they don't come to the surface.
Okay. I prefer the surface myself.
Yeah.
I should be all right.
But if you go diving, you'll find them.
One. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And go ahead and make sure that line gets over the top there. Go ahead, jump out. Nice. So we have that line out nice and straight and beautiful on port side. Jim's going to call out to us when we're ready to drop that port side pot. He has to make sure these two pots aren't too close together. They'll compete for the same little population of crab. I heard me using these words port and starboard when we were communicating just now about these crab pots. Port and starboard on a boat refer to the left and right side of the boat. If I'm facing the very front of the boat and I look to the left, that's port side. Those support structures are really useful in deflecting marine traffic and debris that might run into the base of the bridge. They're also useful at doing something called sediment stabilization. We're going to see a lot of really cool seabirds out here today. Right now on the starboard side we have an amazing flock. This is a brown pelican. There are 7 species of pelicans created by the Army Corps of Engineers. So fresh way out. That way back to
Can I ask you a quick question on video?
Sure.
Do you mind being on YouTube?
Yeah, that's okay.
You said something about Pacific Cake. You were talking about that earlier.
Oh,
Is
Pacific
that-
Cake, yeah.
Yeah. Is that a product or a species?
It's a species of fish.
So Newport is a big source of Pacific Cake,
Mhm.
which you said is used in pet
Like,
food.
yeah, it's big in pet food. It's big in surimi, which is imitation crab.
Okay.
It's really difficult to eat just if you cook it because it turns into that weird gelatinous goo.
Uh-huh.
It's not very tasty, but keep processing it turns into like dog food products or imitation crab.
Okay. So if you buy a can of imitation crab, that's Pacific Cake that's been cooked like 7 times, you said?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Really nice little grouping. You want to hold some? There we go. So as you guys hold your bunches of mussels, I want you to notice little animals that are crawling around inside your bunch. One of those little animals is going to be the kelp amphipod. We're going to look for one right now in the bin together. This right here, this is a baby Dungeness crab. This little Dungeness crab, he is oh, he looks gorgeous. He's looking nice and proud for you now. This little Dungeness
building your muscles. You want? Okay.
These
You want to hand them to me?
muscle support a huge range of life.
Thank
They
you.
not only have these little amphipods, but also little arthropods, little crustaceans, little crabs. Can you hold one? There you go. These little sea gooseberries are a type of jelly, and all of the orange that you're seeing in this bucket is actually their food. They feed on a type of plankton that has a type of orange color to them. Oh, nice. You got a little amphipod. It's a cleanup for a species. There's nothing in this tank that can hurt you. I highly recommend getting your hands in here and making some observations. So we've made our way up into the Yaquina Bay estuary. An estuary is an area where salt water from the ocean and fresh water from the Yaquina River are mixing together in a stratified layer of fresh and salty water. That creates a really unique ecosystem where lots of animals can survive as juveniles. So things that live their whole lives out in the ocean will use an estuary to be raised as young or deposit their eggs. An example of some of those animals are going to be those little crabs that we have on board today. They're going to lay their Dungy crab eggs up here in the estuary. Some of you might have seen in this container here. I'm actually going to ask one of my friends who's in the container. Do you see a little blade of what looks like grass in there? Can you hold it up for everyone to see? Yeah, hold it up nice and big. Oh, you got a great piece. Nice. So that right there that my friend is holding up is eelgrass. It grows in abundance up here in the estuary. Eelgrass is really important because it's where our little Dungeness crab moms will come and deposit their clutches of eggs. Then they'll be washed over with that nutrient and oxygen-rich water, and they'll be able to hatch and grow as juveniles up here in the estuary.